to episode 3 of the Dyer's Journal. I am Jackie, your host of this podcast, and I own Lowlander Yarn Studio, which is a small batch hand dyeing company that is out of my little corner of the world here in the Ozarks in Missouri. Originally from Glasgow, Scotland, as you all know, or for those that are tuning in. Yes, I'm a Scot living abroad. Welcome to this episode. And if you tuned into last episode 2, you would have seen that my sidekick, my mum, was in it. Well, actually, she was in episode 1 too. But anyways, I had said in episode 2 that I was not going to be camera shy. When I got back to the States, I was going to do episode 3 by myself, which is a little intimidating, I must say. Because when you do a podcast with someone else, it feels like you're having a conversation, you're having a laugh, they keep you straight, it's just more helpful to do it with two. But I am an independent dye company, I work on my own, and you're just stuck with me for the foreseeable future until I either go back to Scotland and do a podcast with Mum, or she comes here and does a podcast. But for the time being, you're stuck with me, so sorry about that. And I started thinking about doing this podcast on my own because I've done the last 2 with my mum, and thinking about the structure of it and how you interact with your audience with just one person. Like, how do you have a laugh? I mean, if I just sat here and laughed, you probably would think she's a crazy person. But I guess, I don't know, maybe I'll just laugh at my screw-ups. But we're just going to see how it goes. Couple of things right off the bat. I have just set up my podcast area in my craft room, and the lighting is not that great, so forgive me for this episode. We're going to try and make the lighting a bit better for next episode and iron out all the kinks of lighting, camera positioning and everything else. So this is my first one on my own in my little podcast space of the world, and let's get going. So yes, here I am with my cup of tea. Can't have a good natter without a cup of tea. It's totally essential. Let's get down to the podcast. So first things first, you can find us in all the usual places. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. We have our own website, www.lowlanderyarnstudio.com. So this is the Dyer's Journal, and it wouldn't be the Dyer's Journal without talking about dyeing yarn. So, excuse me, I have a million devices going off here. Let's talk about Dye Studio since I get back from Scotland. When I came back from Scotland, I totally decided to change everything, change the website, change how it runs, how it operates, and we also decided to update our colour choices and yarns that we sell here and dye and sell here at Lowlander Yarn Studio. So I got right back into the dye studio and started with a whole new palette of colours, and then obviously photographed and edited, which I am still in the process of. That takes time. And then started working on the website, revamping it to bring you not only a better website, great colour choices, but also easier to navigate. So you'll notice when you go to the website now, it's changed a little bit. There's not as many choices at the top of the page as what there used to be. So if you look under yarns, it will come up with the different categories. So there's like dye to order solids in there, dye to order tonals, we have our kid silk in there. We also have our exclusive yarn choices in there, which I think I'm actually going to change the name to either Signature or Speciality. So let's start from the top. Our exclusive colorways are those yarns that are either hand painted, speckled, variegated, more artistic yarns. So if you're looking for a more artistic yarn, you want a speckled, a variegated, just a way out there yarn. If you look under exclusive colorways, that's where you'll find those types of yarns like speckled and variegated and stuff. So got that down. There's also a section in there called Weekly Wonders, and let me explain what Weekly Wonders is. In every dye studio, every dyer, when they get to the end of their week, they have dye solutions that are left, or dye powders from speckling that are left and stuff. And you know, these things cost money, so you hate to waste them. And you know, dye solution, once it's made up, does really have a shelf life. I mean, you can keep using it, but it gets kind of muddy if you leave it too long, especially in humid weather. So I decided at the end of each week or every couple of weeks to you know, keep collecting these leftover yarn solutions, and then have a day of dyeing where I just dye completely random yarns with what dye solutions are left, just mixing them, different things, speckling, whatever, and decided to call them Weekly Wonders. So whenever they're updated, they will be updated under our yarn update page, which will be loaded every time we load some on there. But they will be called Weekly Wonders because it will be a wonder how they turn out. So yes, keep an eye out for that. I'll always post on Instagram and Facebook and stuff when we're doing updates. So I'm getting ready to dye some yarn, Weekly Wonder yarn, here probably next week, because I got a lot of leftover dye solution that I'd like to use up. So that's our Weekly Wonders. The other thing that's changed about when you order yarn is, before in the website we had it categorized under fingering weight yarn, and then we had colors and you know, DK weight, worsted weight. We had all the different subs of that. So, but we have decided to make it easier for you guys and easier for me, being a lone person dyer and having to manage a website too, which is a lot. People don't realize how much work goes into a website. There's a lot of work involved going into a website. So what I have did is, if you go to the different categories of yarns, like our exclusives, our dye to order solids, our dye to order tonals, and all the different categories, once you click in there and you click on a color that you like, you'll also have a yarn base choice. So whatever yarn base is available for that particular yarn, it will be listed. So that's the great thing. So you get to take, for instance, our solids, and you clicked on our peachy solid, then you will have the choice to order it either in our Sockalicious base, or Highland Way fingering base, or Highland Way DK or worsted base, and whatever other yarn base is available for that color. So I really think that that's probably more of an effective way of doing it, rather than having a million yarns in all different weights, which sometimes the colours are replicated in all these different pages. I just wanted to simplify it, not only for you guys when you're buying yarn, but also for me, that, you know, I'm not spending an over amount of time on the website when I want to be doing other things like bringing you a podcast. Because that's the thing, as you know, being an independent any type business on your own, people don't realize the back door of a business. What you see is the product that comes to you, the yarns, bags, whatever it is. But actually behind the scenes of that, there's so much to manage as one person. You know, you're the one that's creating the product, so you got to create it. You know, you're the one that's photographing the product, so you got to photograph it. You're the one that's being the website manager, so you got to manage your website, make sure everything's up there and accurate. You're the one that packages the orders, sends them out, and all that. And then you're also managing your social medias, and then you're doing podcasts. So doing all that as one person is a lot of work. And I'm really just trying to simplify things so I can spend more time on things like talking to you guys and stuff, which I love to do. There's just not a lot of time. So anyway, that kind of explains the website. And I got some examples here of some of our new colors. So when we say a solid, I mean, truly in the dyeing world, there is no true solid color. You'll always have a slight tonal effect to it just because of how the dye takes the yarn. But it's the truest form of a solid color you can get in dyeing, and that takes practice. But this is an example of one of our solids. I believe this is peachy. And you can see it. Let me open it up. You can see how you still get a slight tonal effect. Hopefully you can see that. There's still like a slight tonal to it and stuff, but it mainly is the truest form of that color that you can get when you dye your yarns. So that is one of our examples, and here is another one. This is a new color we did. This is a solid, and you probably see it a little bit more in this color. This is called Sea Breeze, which is one of my favorite colors because I am a blue and a green person. I love blue and green. But you can probably see it more in this color if I point out this little bit. You see how you get a slight tonal effect where the yarn just is a little lighter in some places than in other places. So, but that's what adds to the beauty of a hand-dyed yarn. That's what makes hand-dyed yarns just gorgeous. So those are a couple of examples of our tonals. Our solids. And our tonals, and we have named them tonals, and I know a lot of people out there in the dye world are going, well, really a solid colour should be named a tonal. It's a great debate. For here at Lowlander, no, our solids are solids, and our tonals are a yarn that is dip dyed in the same colour. And obviously when a yarn first strikes the dye, it will take on the most colour. So what we do here at Lowlander is we dip it in stages. So we'll dip it to take on its truest colour, and then we'll wait, and then we'll dip a little more, and we'll dip a little more, and you can see how it takes on that beautiful tonal colorway, which I must say knits up absolutely gorgeous. Tonals are one of my favorite ones to knit with. I just absolutely love them, and if you pair them with a solid, they're great too, or a speckled. So that's an example of one of our tonals. Here's another one. Here it is, and you can find all these on our website. You can see how it the first dip is this rich purpley heathery colour, and this is called our heather glade, and you can see how it just tonals out to this beautiful lilac colour, which, oh my goodness, I absolutely love. So we're going to pop that down there and pop that down there. So that's our tonals. And we just added our first speckled yarn to our website. Now, let's talk speckles. Speckles are one of those things as a hand dyer that, as a business, it's trending, everybody wants them. It's not the same as dyeing yarns. Speckled yarns takes a lot of practice, a lot of teaching yourself how to do it, a lot of failures and stuff. It's not the case of, oh, I want to speckle some yarn, I'm just going to go speckle it. And it all turns out great, because believe me, when I started speckling several months ago, I was like, dear Lord. I started off speckling a certain way, and then I tried different methods of speckling. I tried my hands, I tried the toothbrush, I tried, tapping the spoon and different things like that. Dyers come up with their own way that they're comfortable with speckling with. And I've come up with my own way. So we dyed our first round of speckled yarns, which I am super happy about, and we'll be adding some more colours here next week, but we just put them up on the website under exclusive yarns. And let me give you a little glimpse into some of our new speckled yarn, this being my favourite. I call this one Trifle, and the reason I called it Trifle It's because after I dyed it, coming from over there, trifle being one of my favourite desserts, after I dyed it, I don't know, it just reminded me of trifle. You see that rich jelly colour with the creamy colours and the speckles, like little chocolate speckles that we put in our trifles over there. I don't know, it just reminded me of trifles, and I absolutely love it. And this is going to be the first one that I knit with, so this is getting ready to be wound. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but it is one of my favorite colors. So I'm really happy about that one, and I'll just show you maybe one more here. And this one I called Caramel Surprise because it reminded me of caramel. I don't know why. You can tell I like sweets. But oops, I got myself tangled here. Hold on a second. Oops, there we go. So if you see it, it's this beautiful, rich, almost kind of like buttercuppy, squashy kind of color, and it's got a little green in it. But I don't know. The main kind of how the dye managed together with the other colors, I just looked at it and it just reminded me of caramel, so I called it a Caramel Surprise. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful yarn. And that's one of the things when you speckle yarns. It's one of the things you learn when you speckle yarn is you're speckling on, for me, I speckle on bare yarn. I don't, this type of speckling, I didn't pre-colour the yarn with dye. So I speckled right onto bare yarn in the pan, hot. The thing about speckling is because you're working with dry powders, firstly, if it hits too much water, it just turns to colour. So you got to learn that process of how much water, how much heat, and get that correct so that the speckles take as speckles and not colour. So that's process. But the other thing you learn when speckling is colours will marry together if they touch each other. Now, sometimes that creates an absolutely beautiful effect that you didn't know it would have, a beautiful colour kind of speckle. But sometimes when those colours marry together, you're just like, that is not good. So you kind of learn what colours you can put close to each other's, what colours can touch, what colours you want to keep far apart, even though you want those colours in the yarn. So speckling definitely is a process, but the end result is absolutely gorgeous. So you can find those on the website. And which brings me to my next thing. Something else that we just started was our Mystery Yarn of the Month Club. And we just started it in July. So the cutoff is July 7th, and this will probably come out after July 7th. So if you guys want to plug in, you'll need to plug in August. But the Mystery of the Yarn Club is a club that goes month to month. No subscription needed. Yay. So you buy in every month. You got to buy in before the 7th of the month in order to get it by the end of the month. So it's kind of a little fast track club. And what your Mystery Yarn of the Month Club is a mystery yarn, a full skein of yarn with mini-me single yarn. So to pair with it, that coordinates with it. But what I want you guys to know is our Mystery Yarn of the Month Club will only include our exclusive colorways. It will be our choice to include a speckled yarn or a hand painted yarn or a variegated yarn. And that's what makes it fun, because it's our speciality yarn. So you never know what you're going to get. It's a mystery, and that's why it's called Mystery Yarn Club of the Month. So you guys probably have missed out in July, but please get on there and sign up for the August club, which should be out here in about another week or two. Well, it might not be, I don't know when the podcast will go out, but sign up for our August club because it really is a great club, and it's great value for money, and it's a mystery and it's a surprise and it makes you all happy. And plus there are limited spots available, so I only do 10 to 15 members a month. So if you can't get in 1 month, try again in the next month. But that's kind of the way I'm doing it right now. So yeah, that's kind of exciting. And also, in other yarn shopping news, our Advent season has started. If you go onto the website, you can order your Advent calendars, which is kind of fun. We started Advent last year, was the first year, and I was kind of like, I think I podcast that in our first podcast, which was last year. I can't believe it. So we started last year, and I started with a very small, limited amount of spaces available. This year, I'd like to say we have doubled the spaces available, because we sold out very quickly last year. So we've not long had that up on the website. So if you want your spot for Advent season this year with Lowlander Yarn Studio, because I'm telling you, our parcels last year were so full of all different things. It was just great. So if you want to pre-order your spot, then get on the website and click on the Advent calendar section. We have two choices. We have 25 days of Christmas, or we have 12 days of Christmas. So 25 days, as you know, like last year, is 25 packages to open, one for each day of December leading up to the 25th. And so it's 24 mini skeins and one full skein on Christmas Day. But what's so fun about it is they're full of goodies all along the way. And that is really exciting, because that's the fun part for me, is because I never know what I'm going to put in it. I'll go shopping, I'll see different things, I collect different things throughout the year. So I got a few things when I was in Scotland to put in the Advent calendar. So yes, that's really exciting. Our second choice is 12 days. So 12 days leading up to Christmas, 11 days of mini skeins, and one Christmas Day with full skein, and that also have goodies in it. So check that out. Don't forget to order, because spaces will fill up, and when they're gone, they're gone. I'm only one person. I can only dye so much yarn. So anyways, I think that is all that is in shop news. The only other thing I would like to mention is in kind of shop Dyer news or whatever, is I am going to be starting some vlogging in the dye studio, which I'm kind of excited about. I've already did a little bit, and so yes, I'm hoping to bring you that soon, because yeah, I can talk about dyeing yarn, I can talk about speckling yarn and this and that. I want you guys to see the process of what it takes to bring yarn to you, which to me is just fun. That's what I do. I would rather do that all day long than do anything else. So two things I'd like to do in my business: dye yarn all day long and talk to you guys. Everything else, I'm like, I don't want to do that. But it's a necessary part of business, websites and social media and stuff like that. Now let's get down to part 2 of the Dyer Journal podcast. So like I was saying in the first part of the podcast, we talked all about dyeing in business and shop updates and everything. So, but one of the things I was saying was how I was trying to simplify things. One of the biggest reasons I'm trying to simplify things is because, and if there's any other dyers watching this podcast, please support me in this, there is never enough knit time when you run a yarn business. You're busy dyeing, you're busy with your website, your social media programs and stuff. There's just never enough time for knitting, which really, 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 really frustrates me, because firstly, I am a knitter. So I love to knit because I love to knit, but I want to be able to bring you things when we do a podcast, because I don't want podcasts to be all about business. I want it to be all about knitting. And one of the things I get most jealous about is when I see you guys all on Instagram and Facebook, and when I get together with my groups that I knit with and stuff, I see all these things that people are doing and everything else, and my knitting time is so slow because there's so little of it. By the time I do everything in a day, plus, you know, like most dyers, I have an outside job, so I also work. So yeah, I'm a little frustrated at that. So my goal for the next 6 months of this year, now that I've simplified my business, is for me to have some more me time and knitting time. So I don't have a whole lot to show you, but I have some planning that I'm going to be doing for some knitting projects that have been on my list of things, because like I say, I'm a knitter too, so there's so many things that I want to knit that I've wanted to knit for a long time. So yeah, I'm excited now that I've simplified things to be able to be knitting. But I do have a couple of finished things to show you, and a couple of things that I'm working on, 2 things I'm working on I think, and something that I'm about to start and cast on. So let's get down to it. One of the first things I want to show you is a shawl that I'm working on right now in one of our colorways. This is the Heather Glade colorway, and it's just paired with just a plain base, no dye, because I wanted like a plain color with no dye to give a good contrast to it. So I am working my way slowly along this beautiful shawl, and this shawl is called The Girl from the Grocery Store, and it is by Joy Locatelli, who I absolutely love and idolize. So this is what the shawl is, and anything I refer to in the podcast, I will put down below any links, any businesses, any designers, what yarns were used. If I have the information, it will go down below. And feel free to ask any questions on anything. I will gladly answer it and stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited about this because I have, let me see, there's 9 stripe sequences, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 4 more. Let me get this out of the way before I end up taking off my needle. I have 4 more stripes to go before I can start this beautiful lace section, which I cannot wait to start. And this is just a me project. Even though I'm knitting it in my yarns, I'm knitting it for me because I really liked it. I saw it and I really liked it, and I bought the patterns. So yes, if you're interested in that, I will put the link below. And hopefully by the next time I do a podcast, I am hoping to have it finished. So that's something I'm working on, a little whip project. The other thing, and I don't remember if I put this in the last podcast, but I'm not a sock knitter. Not because I can't knit socks. I just don't like knitting socks. But I thought, well, you know, I'm going to put a pair on my needles, and I chose the Stormy Day socks. Sorry, I can't remember who that's by, but I think it was in our last podcast, and I'll definitely put a link below. But I was either planning to start it last time, or I had just started it. But I just finished my heel, and I am knitting top down just because I prefer top down 1 at a time socks. So, but as you can see, I just finished, I'm doing it on 4 points. Double pointed. I just finished my heel, and you can see it's a beautiful stripe and sequence. It's got some eyelets in here, and this is all Lowlander Yarn Studio yarn. These were minis, so I might just say it's the mini me sock. So yes, I am hoping to at least have one of these finished by the next time we podcast. So yeah, I'm really excited about that because it's my first sock. And everybody that knows me knows I don't knit socks. So everybody, of course, is assuming I'm not going to finish them. And I'm hoping that that will not be true. So that's a couple of things that I'm working on right now. And one of the things, since we're talking about works in progress, this isn't a work in progress, but this is one that I want to start knitting. I want to knit myself a vest for fall. because I wear a lot of long sleeve t-shirts and I want just like a little vest to put over them. So of course, as most of you know, I owned a yarn shop, and after I closed the yarn shop, I kept a lot of the knit books that we sold there. And this is Sublime book, and I love Sublime patterns. You can look that up, and I'll put the link below. But anyways, this is book number 692. And I want to knit that too, but I have chose a vest in here that I am going to be putting on my needles once I dye the yarn, and I think I'm going to dye it in that greeny turquoisey colour, and I'll probably name the colourway. But yes, I can't wait to get that on my needles, so that should be on my needles by the next time I speak to you guys. So that's exciting. So I will have 3 projects going. And also, I just had a little baby niece born in Scotland, and I want to get something on my needles. I'm not sure what, but I want to put something on my needles for her, so that will probably be on my needles the next time I speak to you. So I'm excited about that. Okay, a few things finished. I was started working on a cowl for a kit, and excuse my ends, obviously I have not sewed them in yet. Let me just pop them in there. But yes, this is out for test knitting. This is the Wild Thistle Cowl by Lowlander Yarn Studio. It will be in a kit. This is our DK yarn, Highland Way DK, and I haven't named the colours yet because they're not up there yet, but they reminded me of like heather and thistles, so that's why we called it the Wild Thistle Cowl. This is an easy weekend knit. I knit and designed it in about 3 or 4 days, and now it's out for test knitting. So once the test knitting is back, it will be up on the website, and it will be in kit form initially with the colours that I chose for it, because I just think the colours go beautiful with it. But look, it's got a beautiful little simple cable and eyelet. It's striped a little bit, and like I was saying, with those solid colours, you see how you get a slight tonal to it, but that's what makes it absolutely beautiful. So look out for that. That will be up on the website soon as the test knit comes back, and I know that everything's okay with the pattern and everything, then it will go up there. So that's kind of exciting. And talking about kits, the last time in our podcast we showed you our Ocean Sky shawl. It is now in kit form and available through our website, so you can also get that, because I know a few of you have been asking if that pattern was done and released, and it is now released either in pattern form or kit form, so you can go to the website and get that. So, and then I did not knit these socks. My mother knit these socks. I brought them back from Scotland, but she knit them in one of our yarns. I can't remember the colourway, but I'll put the colourway below as a link. But I just wanted to show you what one of our exclusive yarn knits up in. This style of yarn is almost kind of like a hand painted yarn. It's not speckled, even though it looks speckled. It's not speckled. It's done in a couple of different colours and a certain method that we use to bring you a couple of light colours through a yarn. So yeah, that is one of our exclusive yarns, and as you can see, and I have the pair here, it knits up absolutely gorgeous. It's just beautiful. I just love it. And this pattern was it's SOX. It's the socks pattern, and it's by Cowl. It's just a simple sock pattern, and these are now mine because I brought them home from Scotland. So that is that. And then also, even though Mum is in Scotland, she still is part of Lowlander business. She knits a lot of our samples, so I send her yarn, and sometimes I'll give her a pattern to test, or I'll give her a project to work on. But I sent her one of her new colours. I can't remember if it's up there yet, because I'm still working and uploading stuff, but it's Rosewood. So I had sent her this, or took it when I went over, and told her to knit whatever shawl she wanted in it. I just need something knit in it. It didn't have to be a Lowlander shawl, just anything she wanted. So She chose to knit the Charmaine Shawl by Emily Wood. I'll put that link below. This is an absolutely gorgeous pattern, and the yarn worked up in it so beautifully. It's really hard to get everything in the camera, so I'm just going to do a little kind of show you it going up, and you see how that lace just curves around to the other side of it. It is an absolutely beautiful pattern, and this one was knit in our Rosewood colorway in a solid. This one was done with our BFL yarn, which is a Blueface Leicester, which is mixed with some silk, and that's why it takes the color. If you can kind of see, you can see how the silk dyes different, really lighter than the actual BFL, so that gives a beautiful hue of color. And our BFL is also under our yarn bases online, and most yarns you can order in our BFL base. And our BFL base is called Silkmere. So whenever you're choosing a color online, if you look at your yarn bases, Silkmere is our BFL base because it includes some silk in it. But there's also a yarn base information page on the website where you can look at and see what our yarn bases are in order for you to choose your yarn base. So that is that. And then I gave my mum some speckled yarn, one of our new speckled yarns. This is called Pumpkin Spice. And I had her knit the Ocean Sky shawl, which is available online as a pattern or as a kit, in our Pumpkin Spice colorway. And I mean, it's probably going to show up a little more redder than what it is, but it's actually not, if you can see it. Do you see how beautiful that is? Look at those speckles. Just look at those speckles. You see the oranges, some of the, I think I might have this shawl back to front, no I don't. The oranges and some of the different reds that are in it. You see the color, the speckles and the color changes. You see some of the brown speckles in it. That is our Pumpkin Spice colorway. As you can see some of the, see the darker speckles. It is absolutely gorgeous. So if you wanted to knit that shawl and didn't want to buy the actual kit, because our kit includes just specific colorways for the Ocean Sky shawl, you can buy the pattern separately under designs on the website, and then you can go into your speckled yarn and you can order your yarn there. Now you can use one or two skeins because the pattern is wrote for a smaller size and a bigger size. But with speckled yarn, if you don't know if you might knit a bigger size of something or you need more yarn, I suggest you buy what you need when you order, because then it will be all dyed in the same dye pan, which will get you closer to every skein being a replica of it. When you order one speckled yarn and then come back and order another one of that same colorway, it can change because of the way that yarn is speckled. So yeah, I always suggest if you're going to buy speckled yarn that you buy a little bit more than what you think you need or you're planning for, because you just never know. And so yeah, so that is really all the finished objects I have right now. That is really all I have to show you in knitting. But as I said, I've simplified everything. I'm really hoping to get some more knitting time in, to have some more content to show you guys, because you know what, I don't want a podcast to be all about business. I mean, yeah, I know I'm a business, but you know, I like chatting to you guys and I like seeing things that you guys are doing. And yeah, you know, I just love one of my what am I trying to say? See, here's one of the failures I'm gonna laugh at. One of my favourite podcasts to watch is Kaz from the Wee So and So. If you've not seen Kaz from the Wee So and So, tune in. She's a riot. She's fun. and she does some beautiful knits there, has some great giveaways, and she's just a lovely person. I met her when I was in Scotland a couple of months ago. So yeah, tune in to Kaz, but she's one of my favourite podcasters to watch because her whole podcast is just all about knitting and what she's knit, what she plans to knit, and she's just started to do a little travel vlog where she's travelling about Scotland and stuff, and that's really fun too. So yeah, tune into Kaz at the Wee So and So, but don't forget to tune into us here at Lowlander Yarn Studio. I know we're a new podcast, but we can't grow without viewers. So yes, we're ironing out some kinks, and it's going to take us a while to get more content and everything else because Rome wasn't built in a day. So, but if you like me and you like my mum Helga, who will be here occasionally on it, then tune in and subscribe. Sign up to our newsletter on our website if you want to be kept updated with all shop news. So you can find that by going to our website and signing up. And follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you don't miss an episode. So anyways, I believe that is all I have for you guys, and I will see you back here for episode 4, and haste you back.